Okay, so here's part two. In the last part, first example, we were given some numbers that represented percents and some numbers that represented just the amounts, okay? We're going to see that example number two does not include any of the percents to begin with, so it kind of makes you think just a little bit how to solve it. Okay, so it says 27 of the 45 elves who worked in the toy factory had to work the night shift. What percent of the elves had to work the night shift? Okay, so we have to think about a little bit what a fraction means. When I tell you 27 of the 45 elves, I'm saying that the 27 is the part that worked, okay? And the 45 elves is my total elves, okay? So I'm actually given a part and a total. So if I start over here, I'm going to say worked, not worked, and total. So those are the same as we did the other type of columns. So we're going to say here's my percent and here's my actual count. Now let's fill this in with what we are told. Okay, our find is, it says, what percent of the elves had to work the night shifts? I want to find percent that worked, question mark, okay? So over here, I'm given the number that worked. I want to find the percent that worked. So let's fill this in. For my work column, under my percent, I'm going to put a W because I don't know what that is yet. It hasn't been given to me. For my not worked column, I'm going to put NW because, again, that was not given. But for my total column, notice I'm going to put 100. Because 100 is always a given. It's an understood number. We know that the total of all percents is 100. So even though it didn't tell you that number in writing, you know it, okay? Then you're going to take what else you were given. You were told that 27 of the 45 elves worked. Well, my 27 is the actual count, and the 45 is my total. I know that the 45 is not the part because you can't have a part of a part. You can only have a part of a total. So here's my part that worked. Here's my part here's the total amount of elves. That means in the not worked column for the actual count, again, I'm going to have to put a NW because I don't know what it is. It has not been given to me. Then I go to my find. My find says to find the percent that worked. So I go to my percent that worked column. Here it is. And I pull out W, and then I know that I'm going to use the total column because this one has two variables, so I can't use this column, so it has to be total. So worked over total. Okay, then I fill this in. Well, my percent is going to be W. Here's your worked. Now these are just labels, so don't get confused. Here's your labels, here's your actual percentages. There's the percent for W, which is W. We don't know what it is. Here's your total column, which is 100. And again, this would always be 100 for your total. Then you say equals. Now on the right side, these have to be totals. These have to be W's and these have to be totals. So go into your W column. The actual count is 27. Okay. And go into your total column. The actual count is 45. So here is your proportion. Now find the percent that were worked. Okay, well the percent that worked is going to be the one that's right here. So I'm going to say, okay, I can reduce up and down by 9. That's 3 and that's 5. And I can reduce left and right by 5, so that's 20. Then I can cross multiply, so W times 1 is W, and 3 times 20 is 60. So this is 60% worked. Okay, 60% worked. And that is how you use a ratio box in order to find a percent. So as a recap, guys, a couple of things you need to remember. You're not going to always be given exactly the same information. Like in example number 1, they told you the percent of the leprechauns that were seen, but not the percent that were not. but you could subtract from 100 to find the percent that were not, okay? In the same case here, you were not given any percentages, but you know always that the total percentage is 100. And that will always go in the bottom because remember, fractions equal parts of totals. So 100 in a percent will always go on the bottom, okay? So I've got about 3 more minutes on this video, so I'm gonna go ahead and do an example for you on your homework to make sure that you guys understand it, okay? So I'm looking through right now, and it looks like let's see, guys, I can't see an example that is pertaining to today. Oh, okay, there we go. Number 16 and number 17. So I'm going to look at number 16, okay? So let's quickly do 16. Okay, so 16 says that Nathan correctly answered 21 of the 25 questions. So given he answered 21, so we're going to put answered 21 of the 25. Okay, 21 is the part, 25 is the total. So he answered, and then we're going to say not answered, and then we're going to say total. And we were told that he answered 21 of 25, okay? And actually, remember that this first column has to be percent, and this one has to be actual. So we'll move it over here and down here, okay? Now, we do not know the number that he did not answer, so we're going to put an N, okay? If we keep reading, it said, what percent of the questions did he answer correctly? So your find is percent correct, okay, there. So he answered which ones correctly? Well, we don't know, so we're going to put A. Over here, we weren't given a percent, so we're going to put N. And total, well, we weren't given a percent, but we know that a total is always 100, so we're going to put 100, okay? Now we have our proportion here. We have A for answered, 21 was the actual count, N because we don't know how many answered, N because we don't know the percent, 100 because it's always a total, and 25 because they told us he answered 21 out of 25. Okay, our find is the percent that he answered correctly column. So we're going to go to the percent that he answered correctly, which is here, A. So we're going to write down A over T for total. Again, we're not going to use the middle column because there's 2 variables there, and that would not help us. Then we go to our A for the percentages, and we're going to say the percent for A is A. The actual number is 21. Okay, so it looks like that. Then we're going to go to our total. The percent is 100. The actual number is 25. So there's our proportion. And we're going to solve it going reducing left to right and up and down, and then cross multiply. So A equals 21 times 4, which is 84. Now, we found, remember, we're looking for A, which is a percent, so don't forget to put 84% answered correct. Okay? And that is your solution. Okay, if you guys have trouble with this lesson, please let me know. Otherwise, don't forget what your geometry problems are, and I'll put the answers on Skype if you need them. So take care, guys.